Make C the subject of the formula of A equals B plus CD. So whenever we're trying to make something the subject of the formula or rearrange formula, what we have to do is follow the same rules as solving. And the rules of solving are, we must always balance the equation. And by balance the equation, I mean what we do to the left of the equal sign, we do to the right of the equal sign. So we want to get the C all on its own, so we have to get rid of a B and we have to get rid of the D. The D is stuck onto the C, so we're going to leave that alone for a minute, and we're just going to get rid of the B first of all. We always get rid of the single number or the single letter first. So if I want to get rid of this B, what I'm actually going to have to do is minus B. B minus B will cancel. And if I minus B to the right of the equal sign, I must minus B to the left of the equal sign, because I must always balance the equation. So I end up with A minus B on the left equals CD. So the B that was on the right is gone, and you've added in a minus B on the left, so A minus B equals CD. Another way of looking at this is saying that we brought the B over the equal sign and became minus B. So we're trying to get C on its own, make C the subject of the formula. So now we have D stuck on, and two things stuck together in maths mean multiply, and the opposite of multiply is divide. So if I want to get rid of this D, I'm going to have to divide by D. So dividing by D will cancel these out. But if I divide by D on the right of the equal sign, I must divide by D on the left of the equal sign. So I'm going to have A minus B divided by D. So I'm going to write it out as a fraction. So C is equal to A minus B over D. Now I have the C on its own. I have made the C the subject of the formula. So I follow the same rules as the last example. In this case, I want to make T the subject, and I have U equals V plus 2T. So again, I start off by getting rid of the single letter first. So if I want to get rid of V, I'm going to have to minus V so that they cancel. And if I minus V to the right of the equal sign, I minus V to the left. So I have U minus V on the left of the equal sign, and then just 2T on the right of the equal sign. Now to get rid of the 2, I'm going to have to divide by 2, and they're going to cancel out. But if I divide by 2 on the right of the equal sign, I must divide by 2 on the left of the equal sign. So I'm left with U minus V divided by 2, so I'm going to get T equals U minus V over 2. So now T is the subject of the formula. Rearrange Y equals a third x plus 1 to make x the subject. So we want to get this x on its own. So again, we're going to get rid of the single number first in this case, which is plus 1. The opposite of plus 1 is minus 1. So if I minus 1, they'll cancel out. If I minus 1 to the right of the equal sign, I must minus 1 to the left of the equal sign. So I'm left with y minus 1 on the left and a third x on the right. When I get the x on its own, it's got a third stuck on, so I need to divide by a third so that they cancel out. If I divide by a third on the right, I divide by a third on the left. So I've got x equals y minus 1 over 1 divided by a third. So I can put this y minus 1 over 1 so that I have two fractions. When I'm dividing by fractions, what I do is I turn the second fraction upside down. I change it into its reciprocal. So a third becomes 3 over 1. And I change the divide to multiply. So we end up with y multiplied by 3, which is 3y, minus 1 multiplied by 3, which is minus 3, and 1 multiplied by 1, which is 1. 3y minus 3 over 1 is just going to be 3y minus 3. This answer is okay, but I can actually continue on and factorize, taking out the 3 as the HCF, the highest common factor. So my final answer will be x equals 3 multiplied by y minus 1. Make B the subject of the formula. So we have S equals A plus B plus C over 2. So the first thing I want to do is I want to break up this fraction. So if I have divide by 2, the opposite of that is multiply by 2. So if I multiply by 2, I can cancel out the numerator of that fraction. If I multiply by 2 on the right, I must multiply by 2 on the left. S multiplied by 2 is going to be 2s, and this is equal to A plus B plus C. So now I'm going to get rid of the A. The opposite of A is minus A, so they'll cancel out. If I minus A on the right of the equal sign, I must minus A on the left. So I've got 2s minus A equals B plus C. And then I just need to get rid of the plus c. So I'm going to minus c. And if I minus c to the right, I must minus c to the left. So I end up with b equals 2s minus a minus c. The order of these does not matter. Alternatively, I could have made s to be s over 1 and cross multiplied and then rearranged. Make y the subject of the formula. X plus y over 3 is equal to 2z. So I'm going to get rid of the x first, so I'm going to minus x to both sides so that those x's cancel. So I'm left with y over 3 equals 2z minus x. So I have y divided by 3, the opposite of divide is multiply, so if I multiply by 3, I can cancel out that denominator of a 3, but I must multiply by 3 on the right as well. So I've got y equal to 2z times 3, which is 6z, minus x times 3, which is minus 3x. And then I can factorize by taking out 3 as the highest common factor. 3 into 6z leaves me with 2z, 3 into minus 3x leaves me with minus x. So y is equal to 3 times 2z minus x. Make b the subject of the formula. We have 1 over a plus 1 over b is equal to 1 over c. What we're going to do is simplify the LHS, which is the left hand side, into one fraction, then cross multiply and solve. So we want to make this into a single fraction. So we have a and b as denominators, so ab will be our common denominator, we just stick them together. A into ab, the a's will cancel, leaving me with b, and b multiplied by 1 is b. B into ab, the b's will cancel, leaving me with a, and a multiplied by 1 is a. So b plus a over ab is equal to 1 over c. I'm going to cross multiply and then solve. So b times c is going to be bc, a times c is going to be ac, and ab times 1 is going to be ab. Now what I want to do is get all the b's on the same side. So bc is already on the left, so that just stays as it is. And AB is going to come over the equal sign and become minus AB. And AC is going to go over the equal sign and become minus AC. So now we have the B's on the left. We're going to factorize and take out the B. B into BC leaves me with C. B into minus AB leaves me with minus A. And then we have minus AC still on the right hand side. So we factorized in that step. Now to get the b on its own, well, it's got brackets stuck on with c minus a inside, which means multiplied by c minus a. So we're going to divide by c minus a to get the b on its own. But if I divide by c minus a on the left, I must divide by c minus a on the right. So I end up with minus ac divided by c minus a, which is going to be ac over c minus a. That's minus there in front. Okay, so now we want to make a the subject of the formula. So we have 2 multiplied by a minus t divided by c is equal to a. So the first thing I'm going to do is multiply by c so that I can get rid of this c as a denominator here so that I don't have a fraction. So if I multiply by c, they'll cancel out. But if I multiply by c on the left, I must multiply by c on the right. A multiplied by c is ac. So now I'm going to multiply out my brackets. 2 by a is 2a, 2 by minus t is minus 2t, and this is still equal to ac. So I multiplied out the brackets. Now I want to get all the a's on the same side. So I have 2a, and I just keep that as it is on the left hand side, that doesn't change. The ac comes over the equal sign and becomes minus ac, and the minus 2t goes over the equal sign and becomes positive 2t. So now I have the a's all on the same side. So there's my first a, there's my second a. I'm going to factorize, take out the a as the highest common factor. A into 2a goes twice. A into minus ac goes minus c times. And this is still equal to 2t. So I factorized in that step. Now, a is stuck onto 2 minus c with brackets around it, which means multiply. The opposite of multiply is divide. So if I divide by what's inside the brackets, which is 2 minus c, I can cancel that out. But if I divide by 2 minus c on the left, I must divide by 2 minus c on the right. So I get a is equal to 2t over 2 minus c. Make L the subject of the formula. We have t equals 2 pi root L over G. So the first thing I'm going to do is divide by 2 pi so that I can get rid of the 2 pi that's stuck onto the root. And if I divide by 2 pi on the right, I must divide by 2 pi on the left. So I end up with t over 2 pi is equal to the square root of L over G. Now if I'm going to bring this square root over the equal sign, it becomes squared. But very important, I'm going to square the numerator and the denominator. I'm squaring both. So I have t squared over 2 pi squared, and that's equal to L over G. So that root is gone now because it came over here and squared the numerator and the denominator. So now I have L over G, and I'm trying to get the L on its own, and L over G means L divided by G. The opposite of divide is multiply. If I multiply by G, I can cancel these out. But if I multiply by G on the right, I must multiply by G on the left. So my numerator is going to be t squared multiplied by G, which is gt squared. And my denominator is going to be 4 pi squared. 2 squared is 4, and pi squared is just pi squared. The G does not come into the denominator, because if you're multiplying a fraction by G, you're really multiplying that fraction by G over 1. G is the same thing as G over 1. And if I'm multiplying this fraction by G over 1, it's top by top, so G by t squared, which is gt squared, and bottom by bottom. 1 by 2 pi squared is going to be 1 multiplied by 4 pi squared, which is just 4 pi squared. So now I have my L on its own. Make G the subject of the formula. V is equal to root 2GH. So I want to get that G all on its own. The first thing I need to do is get rid of the big root. And when that comes over the equal sign, it becomes squared. So I get V squared is equal to 2GH. So the root is gone over the other side and it's become squared. So I want to get that G on its own, and it's stuck onto a 2 and a H, which means it's multiplied by the 2 and the H. So to get it on its own, I need to divide by 2H. So that will cancel out the 2 and the H, leaving me with the G. But if I divide by 2H on the right, I must divide by 2H on the left. So I end up with V squared over 2H is equal to G.